Another Brick fan here with a Spider-Man Far From Home set. This is Molten Man Battle. This is set 76128, was released in April 2019, has 293 pieces, 3 minifigures, and cost about $30 when it was released. This is one of 3 sets based on Spider-Man Far From Home. The Molten Man is built in a mech style, which seems like the most appropriate way to show off the character. It's basically a big mess with all kinds of pieces and parts hanging out of it, which I think they've done pretty effectively here. Let's take a closer look at the mech, and then we'll take a look at the minifigures. Here is our Molten Man mech, and I really like the printing here on the face. I think that looks really, really good. There's a good close-up view of the face. I like how that is printed. There's also a couple of signposts connected to him. So here's a no parking one. There's a lamp post over here. Over on his other side here, he's got a street light with a sign for Crater Road here. Also down here, he's got looks like a car, or at least the front of a car, embedded into him. He's got some of these antenna pieces done in the trans orange, indicating some maybe lava or something like that dripping off of him. One of the pieces that I thought was really unique in this set, and you can see them on the feet here, are these trans orange pieces, these kind of rock pieces. They're a slope here with a kind of comes to a point, and then they have this pearl gold printing on them. So there are several of those pieces scattered about on him, on his hands and feet. He has a couple of these trans orange chains that go in between around his arms. There's a sticker here that has that same kind of gold and magma printing on it. There's another one, a couple more up here near his head that are very similar right here and right here. Notice one of his shoulders does have the gold printing here. Looking around the back of our Molten Man, you see that he does have some like beams or girders connected to him as well. Here's that street sign we were talking about and that lamp post here. Just essentially a big mess of just stuff connected to him. He has the 6-stud shooter that's connected within this wheel piece, making it very easy to shoot those studs, which is a nice play feature to go with him. He does articulate quite well, so he has shoulder joints as well as elbow joints, if you will. On this hand, he has a big claw. So like most LEGO mechs, he only has 3 fingers and a thumb. But those are done nicely with this pearl gold robotic arm, and then the tooth piece here to indicate the claws on his hand, which I think turned out really well. I already talked about this little car piece, but I think that really turned out well. It's really recognizable as the front of a car, kind of embedded into the Molten Man. His head is also on a ball joint, so he has an awful lot of articulation in the head and can look around many different directions, up and down. So overall, done quite well. Quite a few stickers on the Molten Man. As I pointed out, this Crater Road, the beams here, also these beams here are also done with stickers on the front. This sign is a sticker. These are stickers as well. Now that we've taken a look at our mech, let's move on and take a look at the minifigures. The 3 minifigures included with this set are Spider-Man, Mysterio, and a firefighter. It also comes with a web accessory pack, which allows Spider-Man to have a variety of different webs that he can shoot. I think the inclusion of a firefighter was kind of an interesting choice. I think it's probably a little bit of a joke since this is a fire monster, so having a firefighter there makes a little bit of sense, but I think it would have been fun to have a named character from it instead of just a firefighter. One thing that is really cool about the firefighter is this fire extinguisher build. So it has a little robot hand or robot arm here, and this Technic piece for the cylinder, and then the nozzle is done with one of these kind of musket style pistol pieces, which I think makes for a really good looking fire extinguisher. So that was kind of interesting to see that build included. Mysterio includes these power pieces that just fire off of his hands. So that's a nice little action piece. And then Spider-Man is in the black and gray costume that was provided to him by S.H.I.E.L.D. I think the printing is very consistent. It goes down from the torso all the way down through the legs with some printing on the toes, which I think all look pretty good. This black headpiece with the white printing stands out really nicely and I think looks very good. Mysterio doesn't have a face. He just has this silver minifigure head, which I think looks good with this dome over it. So it does look very accurate for the character. It would have been nice if they would have included a minifigure head for when he takes the helmet off. But he does have this good printing on the front, and I think the cape piece actually matches the pink or magenta coloring that he has inside of his uniform, so that's pretty nice. A lot of buttons and things and some gold accents. The printing continues down the legs very nicely, with the gold printing around his knees and then of course on the toes here. Our firefighter also has some good printing. You see that he has his angled flashlight here. He's wearing his turnout gear and this nice high visibility yellow with some silver striping. So if you look closely, you'll see that that is a metallic silver print on him. Good printing down the legs as well with some more of that safety striping with the magenta, with the bright yellow and the silver. No side printing on any of these, but I do like this red fire cap that our firefighter is wearing. On the backs here, you see that we have a continuation of the Spider-Man nice printing on his head, and then the torso is very similar to the front. Mysterio continues that same printing along his back, and this is the new softer cape material. So good to get that. And then our firefighter continues his nice printing on the back with his radio and some other accessories along his belt here. No alternate expression on our firefighter, and obviously Mysterio doesn't have any facial features at all. So we only get the one facial expression for each of these minifigures. A nice collection of minifigures included with this set. Let's go back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Overall, this is a better set than I thought it was going to be. I'm not overly fond of LEGO mechs. In fact, the only ones that I've ever gotten are the superhero ones. For example, the Hulkbuster or the War Machine ones from the Avengers series of sets. But this mech really impressed me. I really liked the way that the trans orange looked. I liked the use of the pearl gold. The face print is really good on that piece. That reminds me a lot of a Bionicle face. It was pretty good to see that as well. I like kind of the sloppy look of this, where all these different pieces and parts kind of hanging off the mech or hanging off the creature. This really isn't a mech. It's more to represent the creature that was in the movie. As I mentioned while we looked at the minifigures, I really like the Spider-Man in the S.H.I.E.L.D. provided uniform, which is absolutely appropriate for this scene in the movie. The Mysterio looks really good. I think the printing on it is nice, and then the use of that cape is good. I think it would have been nice to have had a regular minifigure head and a hairpiece for Mysterio, because he doesn't wear his helmet all the time. This is the same Mysterio piece that comes with all of the Spider-Man Far From Home sets, all three of them. I believe this Spider-Man is unique to this particular set. As far as the overall value, it's just a little shy of 300 pieces for $30. So close enough though that it's pretty much in that 10 cent per piece, which is a good first indicator of the value. The three minifigures are nice. The mech I think turned out really great, especially with all this pearl gold on him. So for me, this is a really good value. As far as playability, I think the character can be posed in lots and lots of different ways. I like the 6-stud shooter as one of his hands. I think that's a good addition as well. It is perhaps a little bit fragile, so some of the pieces will fall off during play. So it's not super robust, but I think if you're careful with it, it can be a nice play piece. So I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this set. I'm going to get started on my next video. Until then, happy building. If you enjoyed my thoughts on this set, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to my channel. I've left a link to my Marvel Superheroes playlist up here